Hi everybody, I'm going to demo Insight's new Headlines report today. Headlines report is a very flexible, kind of powerful tool that enables us to pull a lot of data together and tabulate it in various different ways, present it in various different ways. Behaves a bit like a pivot table in Excel. It's really intuitive. You can pull data together, teacher assessment data, statutory assessment data, standardized test scores. You can present it as percentages. You can present it as sort of bar charts and what have you. So it's a really good way of getting all your data together into one place, which saves you a hell of a lot of time. It's great for presenting data to different audiences, obviously for senior leaders, for sort of head teachers reports, for governors and that sort of thing. So anyway, let's get going. I'm going to build a simple report today with various data in it. So if I click on cohorts and choose the headlines report here and click on new report. So when I open it up, I get presented with this screen, and you can choose year groups up here, which I'll do in a minute. You can add more sections to the report here. We can set out how we want the rows and columns to be presented, and we can also obviously give it a name. So I'm going to start by selecting some year groups because I want this to be for my Key Stage 2 data, for my Key Stage 2 cohorts. So I'm going to select year 3, 4, 5 and 6. So this might be a junior school or a primary school that just wants to present some data for its Key Stage 2 cohorts to governors, for example. So select that. And if I look down here and see what it's selected by default, it's looking at the percentage of pupils that are expected or above based on my current academic year spring main assessment, which is my sort of teacher assessment at this point in time. So if I click on generate report, I just get a really simple table like that. But that's not particularly useful because that's all my year 3, 4, 5, 6 children all kind of lumped together. So what I want to do now is split that up. I mean, that might be useful. You might want to have an aggregated percentage, but it's probably more useful to split that up into the various year groups. So if I go back and edit report, and I'm going to go down here to my report headers, and I'm going to choose to split it, the rows by year group. I'm also over here, I'm going to choose column headers, assessment name, because I'm going to add in some more columns in a bit. So I'll do this now, and when I drop in those extra columns of data, they'll be set out how I want them. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to give it a name as well before I forget. So Key Stage 2 report, governors, there we go. Right, now let's generate this report. There we go. Now it's split out how I want it, year 3 to year 6, reading, writing and maths, and the percentages that are at or above expectations at that point in time. That's fine, but I want something to compare that back to now. So let's add in some more report data, some more attainment data. This will be percentages, and I'm going to set this back to year 2, summer. Reading, writing, maths is fine. And I don't want that one, I want SAT, which is the Key Stage 1 results. So let's put this in. That's great. So now I've got year 2 and current assessment side by side, so I can compare that. And that's really useful data for governors or for anyone really trying to evaluate whether progress is being made. So I definitely encourage schools to present data in this way. Now, if you were showing this for Key Stage 1 cohorts, you might have a column that showed the percentages at or above based on foundation stage, profile results, and their current assessment. You might do that. Anyway, so I can also add in some extra information here. So click on Edit Report. I can also show this data sort of visually using a little bar chart indicator. So if I add some more in, I've got this attainment band chart. So now the way it comes up by default, current academic year spring, that's all fine. I'm just going to go with that. So if I stick with the default and add that in, I should get one for my current data, and it shows the proportion of children that are well below, just below, at and above based on the latest assessment data. But I'd also like to have the same for Key Stage 1. So go back again, choose Attainment Band Chart, And this time, it's not for their current academic year assessment. It's going back to Key Stage 1, summer, reading, writing and maths, and obviously I have to change that. Main assessment is where I'm storing my ongoing teacher assessment, so I can base it on the SAT result instead. Now note I've also got standardized test scores in here, FFT benchmarks, so you could add in some of that information if you wanted to. And I should now get a report which has got bar charts for both Key Stage 1 and Key Stage 2, so that's a bit more visual and maybe a bit more easy to compare those two sources of data. Right, now one of the things that's missing is reading, writing and maths combined. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to add that in. So I should have combined attainment figure. Now again, the default is absolutely fine, so I can just add that in. Hopefully I will get that current academic year percentage in the combined subjects. Now it doesn't generate a bar report for this. It's a pretty tricky thing to do, but you do have that percentage there, which is really, really useful. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to add in one more, which is for a combined data for Key Stage 1. So obviously I need to change the default. We've already done this once, haven't we? So we can change that to Key Stage 1 summer and the SAT result, the Key Stage 1 result. And what I should get now is a report that shows percentages at or above expectations back at Key Stage 1, and based on their current teacher assessment information, or it could be based on a current standardized test. If you've got that data in the system, you've defined your threshold for expectations. Side by side, easy to compare, really, really useful for governors and any other audience really that just wants a quick look at standards in the school between those 2 points. So if we save that report, click on the button there, and then we click on this headlines link here, takes us back to our headlines report menu, and there it is, ready to be used another time. So I hope that's been useful. I hope it demonstrates that headlines is a really simple, flexible, powerful report. Should save you lots of time pulling all that key data together into one place for a variety of different audiences. And I'll come back soon and make some more videos on headlines and other reports in Insight. Until then, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.